fascinating. Let me bring in royal YouTube sensation P. Dina on this. P. Dina, I find this so fascinating because, look, Meghan doesn't have an original idea in her body. We know that. With Love, Meghan has been completely stolen from...
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into Meghan Markle's latest venture, her new lifestyle label. Is this branding genius or another royal disaster? From rebranding chaos to accusations of copying, the internet has a lot to say. And trust me, you don't want to miss the details. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into celebrity business moves and royal scandals. Now, let's get into it.
Pamela Anderson's Cooking with Love series. But this is actually more fundamental because it looks like the entire concept of the type of brand she was trying to create with American Riviera Orchard, or shall I say the brand formerly known as American Riviera Orchard, now known as Ever, comes from the Flamingo estate. And actually, Dina, she had all of this insight into Flamingo estate because at one point she was in these talks to purchase it.
I'm wondering why it didn't go forward. Like, what happened to make it not actually come to fruition? Did something happen? Was there some kind of like crossing the line, I think, with Meghan trying to have more than what they were willing to give? Like, something actually happened, right? We don't know what, but I find that part suspect. And I think he is trying to tiptoe around some things, and I think he knows that he's going to continue doing what he's doing and being very successful at it. And Meghan is not going to be able to offer, I don't think, any competition to what he's already been doing. So there's something that I'm not quite sure that has happened. And the reason I think is because why didn't this come to fruition? I mean, I'm just curious. We don't know, right?
The sudden shift from American Riviera Orchard to As Ever. Meghan initially announced the brand in March 2024 with an Instagram reveal that sent the internet into a frenzy. The brand promised everything from home decor to organic food products.
No, and we know her track record, don't we? And we know that her
Yeah.
track record is very difficult to work with. And Richard Christensen, as a businessman, would have quite sensibly asked around, looked at the experiences of others working with Meghan, looked at the experiences of Netflix working with Meghan, looked at the experiences of Spotify calling her an effing grifter and thought, why do I need this? My brand is so successful. And in fact, I imagine he would have had a whole load of experts, P. Dina, telling him, don't even think about this. You're the man already. You don't want your brand dragged down. Because what was very clear to me is that he walked away from the deal. It was him who decided not to. And look, we know Meghan is a big plagiarizer. So she clearly has taken a whole load of his ideas. And it's very easy, I guess, given he's so successful to say, oh, you know, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But deep down, he's going to think, no, this is a really terrible thing she's done.
Yeah, I think so. And you just never know what she could have seen that, he's probably just sitting back waiting for her to try to implement something that he's already shown her. But yeah, the word got around and he thought, yeah, let me just kind of back off of this situation because it's not going to be good for me. I'm sure he had to work very hard to get to where he's at now. He's going to let a grifter come in now and just kind of take over something that you had to work very hard for. So yeah, I think Meghan's reputation precedes her. And yeah, she'll continue to try to steal others' ideas. I think what she's missing though is when people come up with these great ideas and they do things, it works for them because it's an internal thing. It flows with their personality. It's something that you can't explain. It's an it factor.
But a few months later, the name was scrapped. Instead, we got As Ever, a completely different identity. Did the original name flop? Was there a legal issue? Or was this a strategic pivot? Now, copycat claims, too close for comfort. Meghan was reportedly in talks with Flamingo Estate.
Meghan can't come in and imitate someone's it factor, right? That has to come from her. So she's once again deceiving herself. She's in her delusion and her big-headedness to think that she could just come in and steal others' ideas when the whole concept is these are things that originate with the person that you can't explain. You can't imitate that. You can't copy it and then find success. You know, she can't seem to understand or grasp the problem that she's really having. And I really do believe that she really had something when she had the TIG. When she started from that, even though I think she has some inspiration from others, Goop, I think she has something unique that she could have built on. But why is she insisting on renaming it? Trying to copy Pamela Anderson? Why is she not trying to just go back to something in its simplistic form and trying to just humble herself and grow that rather than trying to get on other people's success and trying to just dive into immediate, you know, success with someone else's idea and what they've started. It's a recipe for disaster, right? And I
It
think
is.
Megan, I think she is just we're just waiting to watch her fail.
Pamela Anderson thing, PD. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, it is so similar. Even the use of the word love.
Megan, like you have lost your way. Do you not understand what you are going through right now? People are mocking you. We see that this is very similar to Pamela.
A high-end wellness brand. Some sources claim she wanted to acquire it, or at least collaborate. But when that didn't work out, suddenly, As Ever appears, bearing a similar aesthetic. Coincidence? Drop a comment below and tell me what you think. Next, the Hollywood Playbook. Meghan versus Goop and other celebrity brands.
And you think we're just gonna be like, oh, okay, Megan, you good for you, girl. No, it's laughable. And people, this is the thing. Pamela has something that feels very authentic because you can even tell by how she presents herself on camera. And she's also started to not wear makeup. Like she's completely taken off the veneer of who she used to be, and she's stripped down to something authentic. Megan is masking what she is trying to portray. And Pamela, that's what I was saying earlier. Pamela has coming into this with an it factor, something unique to her. And this is why it works for her. And now Megan's trying to come in and imitate something that Pamela is found very naturally. And you can't do that. And I think that the two are, I mean, you just look at it, and I think this is an episode for South Park. Somebody to just come in and mock
Yes,
it because
please God.
it's so
Please God.
bad.
I mean, what I think I would say is that Pamela Anderson has proven actually that authenticity is what matters now in Hollywood. We're moving away from the old style celebrity culture. So the only celebrities that will survive are the ones that are totally open with the public about who they really are, what they really are, and why they are like what they are. And Pamela Anderson doesn't walk away from her really fascinating history, but she completely owns who she is now. And as a result, I think she will do well, and this cooking series will do well, and Meghan's will not. But another thing I just wanted to look into, P. Dina, was how Meghan Markle, because you know you would previously have thought that she would have the gay pound behind her, right? Flamingo Estate has the gay money. But what's been really interesting for me is to see the pink pound, that's what we call it over here in the UK, but just to see the gay guys effectively say, hell no, Meghan. And that's bad, because that was a really important base if she was ever going to be successful. And I thought it was pointed out brilliantly by the Pop Report, which is a podcast hosted by Zach Peter and Andy Lawani. Have a little watch of this.
If As Ever reminds you of another famous lifestyle brand, you're not alone. Many are comparing it to Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop and Jessica Alba's Honest Company. But here's the key difference. Gwyneth and Jessica spent years building their brands. Meanwhile, Meghan is jumping into the game with little explanation about what As Ever stands for.
This article came
You
out
like Meghan Markle, don't you?
No.
about
Okay.
your girl, Meghan Markle. She renamed her orchard.
I'm so sick of her. Like,
Okay,
she's trying to be
sorry.
like a white Oprah with the orchards in Montecito.
she's trying to be the Black Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh,
I
jeez.
can't.
Wait, she said she was black, didn't she, as well?
Yeah, I remember she called the royal family racist because people confuse her for Beyonce all the time.
Her show's coming out soon. Go
So
on,
less than a
continue,
year
sorry.
after she debuted this orchard, she has rebranded this to be a lifestyle brand. So when she was making products and other things, and also the delay of the, obviously title we talked about for Netflix, this came at an appropriate time.
Just you saying like launching of an orchard, or what did you say? What was the
Lifestyle
word?
brand?
Yeah, it's
Goop.
It's too much.
It's her Goop.
It is a goop.
But like we did Goop, and then we did Poosh, and then
As ever.
I can't anymore. But
Goop
like,
is killing
does
it.
anybody who's like, yeah, let me read Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand website?
I know some mothers from the Southern Belt who would probably take a read, but I wouldn't necessarily myself.
Who
Does she have a website, like a lifestyle-y website?
She used to have the TIG, remember?
Yeah, and
You
she shut
told me
that
this,
down when
yes.
she had met Harry.
Correct.
And
Who
then
she'd never heard of before.
And so not everyone's very happy with the name change. They're like, okay, like the name is horrible. Some are saying when
What
they're
was
looking
the original name?
American Riviera Orchard. They had a bunch of things like obviously
And
potentially
what's it
printed
called now again?
as ever.
Let's just move
Now
on
it's
to the
called
next
As
thing.
Ever.
We need to stop talking about this.
It's bad. Well, I mean, I get why she changed the name originally. It was very like white supremacist. Was that why she changed it?
I don't know.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Right?
You're not wrong, yeah.
Well, like-
But the new one is terrible.
What was it called? The Confederate what?
American Riviera Orchard.
There's our social clip of the week.
Confederate what?
So, Dina, even the lefty woke gays can't find anything to like about this. Now that is bad.
Finally, can Meghan make this work? Meghan has the star power, connections, and media attention. But will people actually buy into this brand? Many critics say she lacks the business background to pull this off.
Man, if you have lost it there, you have really lost it. I mean, they are attuned to how things really are. And I think that speaks volumes to Meghan and what she's trying to do. I mean, if the left can't get that, I mean, no, who is really? No, nobody. I think it's the people who are in their delusion as well, because who is the person that is going to really gravitate to what Meghan is doing? There is nobody except for the people that allegedly that she pays. And that's sad. This is what the business people are looking at. They know that she doesn't have a clientele that is going to gravitate to what she is selling. You cannot make this up. This is going down, and I just think everyone sees it. Everybody. What do you do now? What? You just keep trying. You just kind of think, okay, let me just ignore and pretend. And that's what she's going to do. I'm just keep pretending that this is going to be a success, and that's never going to get you anywhere.
But it's so interesting to me seeing like her natural allies just slip away because they realize this is ludicrous. She's still getting a tiny bit of support, Dina, but I wanted to put this one to you specifically because it's from Sir Trevor McDonald. Now, Americans probably don't know who this guy is, but he was the biggest newsreader in the UK for decades, right? So like our equivalent of Tom Brokaw or Peter Jennings. But what was interesting about him is he was a black guy, and that was never a big part of who he was. He was just the best newsreader of his day. But he's written a column defending Meghan, and genuinely, he is one of the only high-profile people to come out and defend Meghan publicly in a very long time. So this is what he said. He said, Meghan too could have brought a new dimension to the monarchy. By having a different background, perhaps she could have changed how the royal family is perceived by those who have never before felt a strong connection. Yet it seems to me that precisely because of those differences, she never stood a chance of being accepted. To be blunt, she is a foreigner, an American, a divorcee, a former actress.
Others argue that her name alone is enough to turn As Ever into a massive success. What do you think? Will As Ever become the next big thing? Or is this another doomed celebrity project? Let me know in the comments. So there you have it.
And black. She was never given a chance to prove herself. So, I mean, this was an interesting one to me because he raised American, he raised divorcee, he raised former actress, but then he did go there in terms of this line of suggesting there is still a racism element. And that was really interesting to me, remembering that Sir Trevor McDonald, as I say, had this glittering career as the #1 newsreader in the UK, where no one gave a damn, DINA, that he was a black man. He interviewed everyone. He did all of the main broadcasts. No one cared. So that was weird to me, and actually a shame to me that he's gone down this path.
I think he just really doesn't have a grasp on who Meghan really is. I think if you really truly follow it and you know who she is and what she's about, you would never say race is a part of it. Personally, I think he is just saying the talking points that he perceives to be, but not really knowing the real story, because we have to remember in the beginning, she was welcomed. She was loved by so many people in the country. And, Megan is the kind of person who's going to keep trying. Why didn't she keep doing that when she was within the royal family still? Why didn't she show that perseverance, that kind of attitude when she was working for the royal family? And it's because she never wanted to. She always wanted to leave, and then she blamed it on race. And this is what I think he's not understanding or seeing. And you also have to look at the fact that he had a successful career. He looks like a black person. Meghan doesn't. So how legitimately can you say that this woman has experienced racism when she doesn't even look black? Come on. You can't say these things and think what you're saying is meaningful if you don't have the backstory and you don't really look at what's there. She doesn't look black. So I don't buy what he's saying at all, because it's just a talking point that he's read or heard her say, or other people. But when you look critically at it, like really look critically at what has happened with Meghan and her downfall, it has nothing to do with race. And I don't think he would have said that had he really known about this woman and her character and her behavior. Because at the end of the day, that is what we're looking at. We're looking at what she has actually done, and we're basing our judgment on this woman on what she has done, what she has shown us, and her own action.
And with that, the best brands, whether they are selling jam, honey, or handbags, aren't just about products. They are about trust.
Meghan Markle's As Ever is already making waves, but is it for the right reasons? Whether this is a genius rebrand or another royal disaster, only time will tell. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a deep dive like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.